Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Woof! Episode 474. That's right, 474 episodes of Farlands or Bust. Getting on with it today. Getting on with it. Organizing inventories. Getting wolfies. Walking westward in a westward direction, and raising money for Child's Play charity. Oop, and getting confused. There we go. That's west. Raising money for Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com. Just a little bit of money came in from the last episode, going directly to Child's Play charity. We're up to $36,424.63. 72% of the way to our $50,000 goal this season. When we do raise $50,000 is when I schedule the Flobathon live stream Farlands or Bust Marathon. And then at the end of the Flobathon, we will press F3 live in front of a studio audience or a Twitch TV audience and find out how far we have walked since the last F3 push moment. Last May, or March, I'm sorry, it was last March. It was March 2014 that we pressed F3, and we were 1479940 blocks from spawn. 1,479,000 blocks from spawn. How much further have we gotten, and how much further do we have to go to reach the Farlands? Only you can prevent forest fires. What? No, only you can donate to Child's Play charity. Like I said, farlandsorbust.com, there's a little widget right there on the homepage that gives you an up-to-date number on where we're at with the fundraiser, but then also allows you to donate. And with your donation, you can ask a question that I will hopefully get to in a future episode of Farlands or Bust. Very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff indeed. Yeah, what is it? We got less than $14,000 to go. We can do it. We can do it indeed. We can do it to it. So yeah, we've had some very interesting episodes the last week or so. We discovered the 2-pixel selection block offset. We've turned over a new floating point leaf, I suppose, if they were measured in leaves. We've turned it over, and we get to see this amazing little sky thing happening. Is somebody gonna pick that up? No, is something going to generate behind it so it's not floating, or is that just going to be a random floating island? All right, this is interesting. I will accept its existence and investigate its geometries. See, it's stuff like this. I say this every time we come across something like this, but this is not the sort of thing you could find in the current versions of the game. We're playing in an old version of the game, Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, the last version to have the Farlands officially. Oh, excuse me, chicken. You spring chicken! And it just had these weird terrain generation things. There were biomes, obviously there's biomes, but they weren't as rigidly defined. Like, there's a lot more homogeneity. What's the word I'm looking for? Homogeneous. It's homogeneous. It's a lot more same stuff happening in the current version. Like, if this was here, then there would be a bunch of other things and mountains, and it would be defined as an extreme hills biome, and it would look just the same as every other extreme hills biome. Whereas this is just some random spire platform thing in the middle of a plains here that makes no sense whatsoever, but the terrain generation algorithms and Al Gore decided, algorithms, get it? Jokes! I make them sometimes. Just decided that, yeah, okay, this right here is going to exist. Carrying on, and then we'll have some water and some desert. Completely bonkers, I doth declare. I doth declare it. Oop, I hear zombies. Quite possibly a spawner, but I don't see it, so we're not going to explore it or investigate. So yeah, how's everybody week? How's everybody's week gone? I did do a Twitch Wednesday on Wednesday that is. That's turning out. It used to be Twitch Tuesday, but Wednesday is turning out to be a little bit better working out for me Just as an FYI, I also posted a video on YouTube announcing it. So if you did, if you only are watching on the YouTubes, you should have gotten that notification. Is this gonna go all the way down? Go all the way down! Yeah! Perfect. Literally perfect. You could not be more awesome than that. Well, I could, but... so yeah, we did a Wednesday live stream. So moving forward, just keep your eyes out for Wednesdays. We did some cool... It was kind of a theme, a Endless Runner theme. And I recently, earlier today, put up the video for Dungeon Highway, which was a surprise. It was one of those games. They sent me a key. It was previously a mobile game that has been ported to the PC, so I was kind of iffy about it to begin with, but I decided to fire it up and try it out on stream, and it's thoroughly enjoyable. And you can watch that video, and I'm going to have another video. We played a little bit more at the end of the live stream. There will be another video up in a couple days with that. But yeah, that's kind of the direction we seem to be heading with the live streams, is trying out kind of one-off games, new games, indie games that we otherwise wouldn't maybe take the route of making an entire new YouTube Let's Play around. So instead we just mess around and have some fun on Twitch, on a live stream. So that's something that I think that was a good live stream. That worked out all right. That worked out all right indeed. So yeah, I appreciate everybody who stopped by for that, and if you didn't, check out the video that I probably posted on YouTube. That summarizes that. The next video is going to be, we also played Distance, kind of an endless runner that you have control over your own speed, more of a racer kind of checkpoint arcade racer, futuristic F-Zero type of situation. But yeah, that was different and interesting. And then we tried some more Dungeon Highway to finish off the live stream. So that was fun. That was a fun little recap of the last few days I've had. Indeed. There's been, and I've wanted to do a little story, a mention of this, but there's apparently it's been in all the news. It's the rage. It's the latest fad. No, it's just I've seen many articles on Polygon and on Ars Techna and all these other kind of blogs and websites and technology, gaming news websites, but apparently there is a lot of copyright issues going around with gaming, particularly old games. Essentially, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, which is a very good organization, and likewise folks want to be able to keep archives of old games playable and in existence. You know, old games that perhaps require an emulator. You know, maybe even old games that can't be played via computers or anything like that. Old games that aren't even sold anymore. Producers and publishers aren't even getting a single cent from these old games anymore. And they want to keep them alive for kind of like the Internet Archive, for historical purposes, even for museums. Museums want to keep these games alive. I don't know if you've been around a while. If you've been on this planet, if you just arrived, then perhaps you should customize yourself with our mixture of nitrogen and oxygen atmosphere. But no, if you remember, for a while ago there were quite a few rolling traveling art exhibits, museum exhibits about video games. One of them was at the Chicago. It was probably the Science Museum, I'm assuming. I think I went to. And it was exactly what it sounded like. It was an exhibit that kind of details the history of video games, and they have all the old consoles and arcade games. It was really cool to see. And even the modern MoMA, Museum of Modern Art, which I get like mentioned in like an article or something like that in the Museum of Modern Art about the Far Lands of Bus Journey. But anyway, I digress. This is not about me. Anyway, this is kind of the movement. They're trying to keep up with this, but the organization that represents the video game publishers, it is called the Entertainment Software Association, the ESA. These are the same folks who came up with the ESRB ratings. ES, Entertainment Software. Same acronyms. They basically want to make sure, and they want to use the DMCA, more acronyms, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, to prevent anyone from circumventing technological holdbacks, from circumventing, in particular, what's the stuff called? It is called the stuff that prevents copyright protection on games. They want to basically prevent. They'd rather. This is the gist. They'd rather games in the past just die and nobody ever sees them again, than to allow people to circumvent whatever you're using, emulators or anything, circumventing the copyright, the electronic copyright protections on the games to keep them running. And that's a real shame. And let me go to sleep and we'll continue. Ooh, yeah, creeper spawning. We'll continue talking in the morning. And awakeness. What is that stuff called? It is called, anyway, what's it is called, the stuff that prevents games from being played illegally. It's like additional software. I've got Content ID stuck in my head, because that's the YouTube thing for copyright, but that's wrong. You'll let me know in the comments, or I'll think of it in like 20 minutes when I'm not even talking about this anymore. But ow! Wolfie, you're trying to sabotage the journey. It's pushing me off ledges. So yeah, I should have perhaps had more organized bullet points. I just kind of had the title of the article here to talk about. But that's really dumb, and it really goes to show how out of touch the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, is and how it can be abused. It's really sad. And I just even think about older PC games. Like, I wanted to play Toka Race Driver 3, which was the Codemasters racing game that came out before it turned into Grid. I thought it was a vastly superior racing simulator. It had a whole dozens upon dozens, like 20, 30, even 40 different disciplines of racing. Everything from go-karts to semi-truck racers and monster trucks and little sprint cars, the dirt sprint cars. An amazing game. I wanted to play that, but the software, the copyright software that was bundled with it, only works up till Windows XP, so it doesn't work on Windows 7 or anything more recent. There are versions that I saw and I thought about. There are these cracked versions that exist. And again, Codemasters isn't selling this game anymore. Nobody's selling Toka Race Driver 3 anymore. Nobody's making any money off of it, but the Entertainment Software Association basically still wants to maintain that it's illegal. Say, even in the case, perhaps I'm doing a racing game, the history of racing vid games art exhibit or museum exhibit or paper, even in historical and educational purposes, they want to prevent such things as these. And kind of the gist of the story is really, I know we support Child's Play charity here, but the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the EFF, is a really good, something I've been following for the past decade or so that they've existed. They really do stand up and kind of fight for our right to live digitally in a free, they work for net neutrality. A recent case that they recently won is they recently struck down, there was a patent troll. Patent trolls are companies or people who hold very loosely defined patents with the patent office. And instead of inventing products or services with their patent, they just attack the other companies or people who would use something vaguely similar to their patent, and they just sue them for basically extortion. This patent in particular, they said they had a patent on podcasting. The release of serialized audio-visual episodic released features, and basically they were laying claim to, we own podcasts. They sued, Apple and a whole bunch of different podcasts and companies. They ended up getting into a little bit of trouble. Well, they kind of had to step back because they sued Adam Carolla, who apparently has an incredibly popular podcast. I don't know, I don't listen to it, but because then he turned around and went to Kickstarter to try to fund actually going to court to take these guys on. He ended up settling with them, so they got money regardless. But the EFF recently took them to court, and the judge overturned their patent and their trollish legal trollitude, and hopefully that shuts them down. So like I said, the EFF is kind of a really cool organization that is really, I feel like, looking out for our best interests. And I say our in the global sense. I know we're probably all in the same community. I'm making a living through digital technology and new industry, kind of also in a kind of a little bit of a legal gray area with the copyright and the content ID sort of situation, using video games and transforming them into Let's Plays. But even just as a consumer yourself, whether or not you just watch YouTube or Netflix, or you just use the internet, the EFF seems to do a very good job of fighting for keeping it the open and free and maintaining pretty much just common sense, in my personal opinion, about stuff like this. So check out the EFF if you haven't, and perhaps throw them some of your support. If you've ever bought from the Humble Indie Bundle website, you know that they support both Child's Play Charity and the EFF. You could always move the sliders as to how much of your purchase goes to which organization. Same organization, so that's cool. But anyway, yeah, Wolfie agrees. The EFF has the Wolfie McWolfington Esquire Jr. III seal of approval. Indeed. So yeah, let's get to answering some questions from donors to Child's Play Charity. Speaking of support and donations, this one from Bacon Robot, a robot that is powered by greasy bacon. Bacon Robot, what is your opinion of the college system? Do teenagers need to go to college to make a living? Is it something you would recommend, etc.? Well, this is a slippery slope that we are slowly descending or ascending, depending on your half glass empty or full perspective. It's tough to say. I would probably say so, especially in these current times, in these turbulent times, that a high school or primary school or whatever around the world, I'll stick with what I know vaguely, that is to say the North American, the United States education system. Things work differently elsewhere. But just having a high school diploma is not really generally what can cut the mustard. Where did that terminology come from, by the way? Who's cutting mustard? It's not a solid. It's not a salad. But yeah, then of course you do hear stories about like millionaires and billionaires who dropped out of school or something like that, or I don't know, your Elon Musk's. I don't know. He probably, I don't know if he went to college or not, but you see these different tycoons who never did any of that stuff, and they found themselves to be successful. But those are certainly exceptions to the rule, and perhaps they started out successful in successful families or something like that. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, I think it's necessary. I did make a joke recently on Twitter, or I recycled a joke rather. That's what I do. I don't come up with original jokes. I just recycle them. But I basically posted a funny Tumblr thing because it was tax time. We're doing taxes, and it was like, question: what are taxes, and how do I pay them? And then the answer came from the American education system, and it says, "Fear not," says the American education system. ... The the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and then that's where it left it. And you do get the sense that sometimes, I don't think it sees like that kind of attacks science and stuff like that, and I think science is important, but is it important for everyday common, things that adults come across? Is it as important? Well, it's important. It's important, but it's not, there should be some sort of like, and a lot of people would respond to that, say, oh, well, that's common sense stuff. You should learn on your own. That's not sort of thing that school should teach you. Well, isn't it though? Isn't it? But yeah, is college necessary? I think a certain form of higher education is indeed necessary, not a requirement. You can still be a very smart person. You can still be an excellent human being, charitable, helpful, kind, without having to go to college. Obviously, I'm not saying only college people can succeed or are awesome, but it's certainly necessary in the current climate. The problems are the systems in place, the requirements, the emphasis on numbers and grades and GPAs and credit requirements, and of course the biggest issue lately is costs. Just the absolutely ridiculous increases in the cost of college. I'm speaking, of course, here as an American from the United States, where our government does little to nil to assist or provide higher education for its citizens. Oh, time to sleep. I see a creeper on the horizon. So I think that is the biggest hurdle, that since it is such a necessity, we really ought to make it more easily available and affordable and attainable. And it's a real shame, the problems that go along with that. And once again, it comes down to money and the people who currently have the money and are in power who are making the rules. So that's a damn shame. It's a damn shame indeed. But let's go to sleep and hopefully talk about some more lighter subjects in the morning. And awakeness. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here, friends. Wolfie is very excited. That is the secret. No, I'm feeling... I woke up this morning, and I'm feeling a little tickle in my throat. And I'm moderately concerned about the source of this tickle and this mild pressure behind my nasal cavities. I do not want to get sick, but just as a heads up, if, like, say, there isn't a Farlands or Bus next Monday or a live stream next Wednesday because I'm sick, I'm giving you the 5-minute warning right now. It could be something happening here. I'm not thrilled about the prospect. It might just be dry. It might just be dry in here, and that's hopefully what it is, but not looking forward to it. Ooh. Ooh, man. So, yeah, let's go on to the... Thanks for that question. I don't have data or huge, definite opinions on the matter. I've said many times before about college, my biggest advice, and probably my biggest regret when I was in college, is that I was just one-track mind for, okay, I need this many credits in this requirement, this, to add up to this in order to get that diploma, to get that degree, to get that, the graduation certificate, to get, on to the next stage, is instead of doing that, you should explore, you should communicate, you should try new things outside of perhaps your major, certainly have a minor, but even not even thinking about that stuff. I was in kind of an art discipline. I wish I took some more science classes. They weren't required. I took the one required that I had, but perhaps I should have taken more, or even some English or public speaking, or even broadcast. Perhaps take some, or even just maybe not classes, maybe join some of the clubs or organizations in the school or something. Oh, these are not workbenches, but okay, thank you. So that would be my piece of advice. If you are able to afford higher education and are lucky enough to attend a good establishment and work towards... Oh no, my workbench. My brand new 2-episode-old workbench. You should take full advantage of the scenarios you're in that regard. But yeah, continuing on. Mr. Fish asks, some physicists have spoke out about the dangers of letting ourselves be known to potential extraterrestrial life, while others are all for it. What are your thoughts and feelings on this matter? I think, famously, isn't it Stephen Hawking who is saying we should not try to contact extraterrestrials, because anybody or any entity out there that is smart enough and advanced enough to reply and or visit us is going to be centuries more capable and centuries beyond our, perhaps hundreds of thousands of centuries beyond our evolution and intelligence. And whenever a quote-unquote more advanced society clashes with a less advanced society, guess who loses? So I think that is his, and perhaps the naysaying, the against contacting extraterrestrials side of things that comes to play. And I can agree with that. There's always that fear. I don't think we are, as a species, actively attempting to contact. We are looking, like SETI and different kind of organizations are looking for signals. We're also, obviously, NASA is looking at exoplanets. You know, they're generally trying to build a catalog of exoplanets. It's a happy coincidence when they find one that is in the habitable zone, that is perhaps comparable to Earth-size mass. That's a little bit more interesting to look into, but it's just as interesting to find the super hot, super close Jupiters and super-sized planets. Yeah, I don't know that anybody's actively trying to, like, send out a signal. Obviously, our radio signals have reached a certain point, and they will continue to do so. And on the same regard, those are the types of signals that I think we're looking for. We're not looking for an extraterrestrial, like, saying, hello, everybody, help us. We're out here in this coordinates, and we are looking for, you know, we're just also looking to catch up the stray radio frequencies, signals, evidence of life on other planets, which is a long shot. There's that whole Drake equation, and a lot has to line up. You know, just like we, in our society, we're starting to turn off all of the analog frequencies that are being sent out into space because we're leading towards digital communication. You know, so we technically only were sending these radio signals for less than a century, maybe. Less than half a century, even. Well, a little bit more than half a century, maybe. That is a very tiny window for another extraterrestrial being or civilization to pick up on. They've only got those 50 years to also be within the same technological state to pick up those radio signals in order to see it. So, look at this pillar. It's kind of a neat pillar. I like this pillar. Pillar. It's a couple pillars. So, yeah, that's tough to say. I don't know. It's not something that I actively worry about. Something a little bit more worrying would be our defenses against and preparation for asteroid impacts. Things within our solar system that we have to worry about would be a little bit more of pressing issues than as to whether or not we should ever actively get in contact with extraterrestrials, I feel. And it's probably a little bit... Everybody wants it to happen in their lifetime, obviously, but we might not find any evidence of any life on any other planets for hundreds or thousands of years if we're lucky enough to be around that much longer. So, you know, everybody's like, oh, we shouldn't do it now. And then people are like, oh, we should do it now, because this is the time that I'm alive, and I want to see it happen. So, it's this and that and there and up and down and left and right. Am I going the right way? Where's my compass? There it is. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Let's see. Whoop. Skeletons. And zombies. I hear them. They're making the noise. Should I attempt to contact them? Oh, It looks like I'm not going to get much of a choice. Yellow. Oh, yeah, there's one right there. Gotta go! It's dangerous! They come with weapons. They do not come in peace. Reese's Pieces. Let's see here. Looking for a question. There's some interesting landscape here. Noodlemeister asks, what is the first space movie you ever seen or remember seeing? That I do not recall. Possibly Star Wars? Yeah, possibly Star Wars. I honestly don't remember. This is, you know, whatever it was, I didn't mark it down in my memoirs. First space movie ever seen. But I'm gonna assume it was a Star Wars movie of some description. Not sure. Another question, Noodlemeister. Where'd it go? Where did Noodlemeister go? Are you excited for Assetto Corsa and Project Cars? I think Project Cars just got a release date of May 8th, which is about the 16th time it's got a release date. That's changed. So we'll see if that changed. Assetto Corsa, I actually recorded some yesterday. I ended up getting the DLC, the Dream Pack, or the whatever the heck it's called. It includes some cars that I'm not totally familiar with, and the Nürburgring, the full Nürburgring track, the Nordschlurf, whatever the heck it's called. So I recorded some of that. So just a little sneak peek for you Farlanders who watch this show. You'll be seeing that video probably over the weekend, and that's fun. So yeah, I was able to adjust some of the visual settings, reduce some of the quality in the graphics so that it plays rather smoothly on my old computer here. Project Cars, I'm not so sure about. I can't get a good read on how much of a sim racer or arcade racer that's going to be. And I was really thrown when they announced that it would be for consoles as well. So I'm like, oh, is this just going to be another Forza then? Which wouldn't be a terrible thing, but then again, not on the same level of sim driving game as Assetto Corsa would be. So I'll see. I'll tentatively wait for that one and read the reviews. I'm a very frugal and nitpicky purchaser of video games, so I have to make sure my money is going to somewhere that I will enjoy a game, and perhaps maybe I'll just have to get it to share with you on the YouTube channel to have a proper comparison between modern driving sim type games, but I would definitely get it for the PC and not for the consoles probably. So yeah, that's thank you very much for that question. You had one more question, Noodlemeister. You asked, where is it at? Have you ever? Oh gosh, all right. I should dig in. Let's dig in under this big old tree. Oh, this sounds like a terrible place to dig in. Never mind. Going over here now. Yep, Wolfie, that's a good idea. Let's go over here. Perhaps over there. Yeah, that was like a whole bunch of badness. Oh gosh, there's badness. Badness is spawning. All right, let's go under this tree maybe. Yep. Okay. The trees will save us. The trees. Always follow the trees. Wolfie. Oh, hi. Thank you for licking my face. My face. Noodlemeister asks something that I'm going to answer once I get myself safe here. Noodlemeister finishes up by asking, also, have you ever tried to convince any of your YouTuber friends to try a sim racer like Assetto Corsa? Probably not actively tried to convince, but I'd certainly be open to, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's clear, but all of my YouTuber friends, if they see a game that I'm playing, that they would like to join me for multiplayer hijinks, they would certainly just have to ask, but I don't know how, I'm not sure how obvious that is, but yeah, I don't know, it's difficult. A lot and I certainly understand that YouTuber gamers probably want to play more popular games, more exciting and or funny games, and most of the time sim racers, like your Assetto Corsas, simply have a really high learning curve, and perhaps not as much excitement as other multiplayer games, as things like your speedrunners or your GTAs or you know, whatever. So I could see where there might not be a lot of emphasis from other YouTubers on those games, which is why you don't see that many sim racing YouTubers of great size and popularity, which is just great news for me. No, that's all right. I don't mind. They're games I enjoy playing, so that's why I play them. So yeah, I mean, I know a couple people. I think Pause at one point actually bought a G27 racing wheel, and he mentioned he did have a Assetto Corsa, but I think he ended up returning the racing wheel. Oh God! We were in danger, and I had no idea. Just standing here waiting for a zombie to fall on top of me? It's crazy. Whew! Safety first. But I think he ended up returning it because he had the same problem with it that I do, is that it takes forever to set up and take down. Forever is like, okay, 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, but still, it's an annoyance to have to do every single time, and then set up make sure it's set up right with the game and blah blah blah. It's less. It distracts you from the goal of making a YouTube commentary, I think, is probably where it comes from. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to find some new friends to play racing games with. No, but Beef has fun. We play F1, and that's good. Oh my God, so many zombies outside. We should probably go to sleep. We're being surrounded. But yeah, F1 I think is a good exception because it does have a specific co-op mode. A lot of these other ones would just be, okay, we're racing against each other for a race, and that's the end of it. But yeah, I've digressed and talked long enough. This has been episode 474. I'm talking here, zombies. 474 of Far Lands of Bust on Friday, April 17th, 2015. Thank you so much for watching. FarlandsofBust.com to donate to Child's Play charity. And please keep your fingers crossed that I'm not catching a cold or getting sick. Please, 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 please. I do not want any of that. So yeah, have a good weekend. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.